Yeah. Oh, I didn't know you're coming from Mridanga. Okay, I play harmony. But nobody else, so I play karta. See if we can find a solution to this. Every time we have to keep switching.
We have explained Vibhuchetana Prabhu,
Oh, okay.
but I don't know who is going to get it. Because it's kept somewhere, we have to search it more. So if he comes back, he will put it back.
जय श्रीमद राधा की जय. वेदांत स्वामी नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम् ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय फोर एट टू मृषा धर्मस्य भार्यासीत् दम्भं मायां च शत्रुहन् असूता मिथुनं तत्तु निरतिर्जगृहे प्रजः मृषा धर्मस्य भार्यासीत् दम्भं मायां च शत्रुहन् असूता मिथुनं तत्तु निर्ऋतिर्जगृहे प्रजः वृषाधर्मस्य भार्यासीत् दम्भं मायां च शत्रुवन् असूतमिथुनं तत्तु निर्वृतिर्जगृहे प्रजः मृषा मृषा अधर्मस्य of irreligion bharya wife asit was dambam bluffing mayam cheating cha and shatruhan O slayer of enemies asuta produced mithunam combination tat that two but nirriti jagrihe took aprajaha being childless. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Another son of Lord Brahma was irreligion, whose wife's name was falsity. From their combination were born two demons named Damba or bluffing and Maya or cheating. These two demons were taken by a demon named Nirriti who had no children. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is understood herein that Adharma, irreligion, was also a son of Brahma, and he married his sister Vrisha. This is the beginning of sex life between brother and sister. This unnatural combination of sex life can be possible even in human society only when there is adharma or irreligion. It is understood that in the beginning of creation, Brahma created not only saintly sons like Sanaka, Sanatan, and Narada, but also demoniac offspring like Nirriti, Adharma, Damba, and falsity. Everything was created by Brahma in the beginning. Regarding Narada, it is understood that because his previous life was very pious and his association very good, he was born as Narada. Others were also born in their own capacities according to their backgrounds. The law of karma continues birth after birth, and when there is a new creation, the same karma comes back with the living entities. They are born in different capacities according to karma, even though their father is originally Brahma, who is the exalted qualitative incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Again, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshi Shunyavadi Paschat Veshatagini. Take the blessings of, I beg for the blessings of everyone, especially His Grace Yuval Kishore Prabhu, that I can speak something in glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, again, the translation another son of Lord Brahma was irreligion, whose wife's name was falsity. From their combination were born two demons named Damba or bluffing and Maya or cheating. These two demons were taken by a demon named Nirriti who had no children. So, irreligion and falsity gave birth to bluffing and cheating. So, this is a very wonderful exposition or revelation of what this material world is. So, this material world is a world where religion is widely promoted, which means that there is no need for God. I don't need Krishna to be happy. I can be happy independent of Krishna. And along with that independent nature, in order for that independent nature to sustain, to be maintained, one has to resort to falsity. Falsity means to be deceptive, self-deception. So, and by combination of both of these things in one's life, one bluffs oneself and others, and cheating propensity is very prominent. So the first the first important point from the translation is very important, is that we're living in a world of irreligion, we're living in a world of duplicity, we're living in a world of cheating. And in this world, it's very natural to pick up the mood or the energy of the environment. So it's very important for devotees to do two things, is to hear from pure devotees whose words are very powerful, very strong, and uncompromising. Actually, pure devotees, Srila Prabhupada especially, their goal is actually to cut through the illusion and to establish what is real vision, what is deceptive vision, what is real vision. How much ever contrary or mind-boggling their perception may be, but their perception is correct, and the entire world, whatever they're saying, is wrong. And the second point is, in order for us to deepen our conviction, to accept their conviction, one has to preach. Because when you preach, when you speak, you will face opposing elements. Like yesterday, I went to university and one person was saying that how he wasn't able to accept some of the statements of Prabhupada, that how is possible that a saintly person can speak so strongly about certain subjects. So I explained to him that how a saintly person, he speaks the truth. What we see is the illusion, but he speaks the truth. And how can we understand that a saintly person is speaking correct thing? We can only understand by experience. When we apply what the saintly person is saying in our personal life, then we can understand that yes, what he's saying is correct. Because otherwise, Prabhupada says we have this problem, this conception that seeing is believing. So Prabhupada is saying that unnatural combination of sex life can be possible in human society only when there is irreligion. So religion, dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. This is one of the first verses I heard when I came to Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada is quoting this verse. So what is dharma is a very subtle, very scrutinizing thing. And this is very humbling for me to repeat this. But I was hearing a few days ago, I myself very far from this. But Prabhupada said, what is human life? Human life means, first of all, Prabhupada said that one should not be infected by the modes of passion, ignorance. One should be firmly situated in the uh, platform of goodness, which means acting in knowledge. Hmm. And Prabhupada said one should have all the qualities of a Brahmana, all the qualities. Samo, damo, tapas, saucham, shantir, arjivam, evacha. Sorry, I forgot. Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, Brahma, Karma, Swami. Thank you. So this verse Prabhupada is quoting and saying that one has to have all the qualities of a Brahmana, be situated in a mode of goodness. Then only he is considered human being. It's called human. So, I mean, so when we hear these kind of statements from Prabhupada, it's very, very powerful actually. Uh, and and it's very important also for devotees to understand that saintly persons are not here to cater to our mental makeup, to our manodharma, nor are they entitled to cater to the manodharma of the material world. Like recently also I was hearing my spiritual master said something very, very powerful. Prabhupada said, people think that by getting independence, India became spiritually very, very advanced. But Prabhupada, this is very, very, maybe very controversial, very difficult to digest. But Prabhupada said that if India was under British rule, then India would be way better off this time. So the thing is that Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee of the Lord, and Srila Prabhupada does not speak to cater to the manodharma of the material world. But Srila Prabhupada speaks for the upliftment of everyone to the platform of pure Krishna consciousness and to cut through the illusion, to cut through the Maya of this material world. This Maya, Prabhupada says, Maya is just like glittering, flickering, glittering promise of happiness, but actually it is not there. It's very interesting, actually. It's like form without substance. Like there's an example that there is a present inside a present inside a present inside a present. So it's wrapped so nicely, but unfortunately there's nothing inside. So that is this material world. So it's like, first you will, go to school. No, you will be happy when you get a job. No, you'll be happy when you have a family. No, you'll be happy when you have children. No, you'll be happy when you have this. But actually, all these things are just false, glittering, flickering presentations of the illusory nature, like a mirage. There is no real happiness anywhere. It's just cheating. This material world is a global cheating system, cheating the mind, cheating the intelligence, cheating the false ego. Constant cheating is going on. And then at the end of life, hmm, after cheating and cheating and cheating, death comes and steals away hmm, the endeavors to gain cheating, uh, flickering pleasure. So, Brahma created not only saintly sons but also demoniac offspring. Why did Brahma do that? Why? Because he wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. This material world is a place which is designed, this material body is a body which is designed to give us the impetus to enjoy independent of Krishna. Srila Radha Govind Maharaj says that this body is given by Maya, senses are given by Maya, and the sense objects are also given by Maya. So therefore, in this material world, unless we have the shelter, we constantly seek shelter of the devotees of the Lord. And by their blessings, by their instructions, by their spiritual power, only by their spiritual power is it possible for us to become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, it is impossible. It's like Prahlad Maharaj. If you read Prahlad Maharaj, 7th canto, 7th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, he is preaching so heavily to his friends, like it's his school friends. Prahlad Maharaj is preaching so strongly. And it's very, very wonderful to read that chapter actually. And after reading that chapter, my awe and my respect for Prahlad Maharaj increased so much because of two things. The first thing is Prahlad Maharaj practicing devotional service. He was practicing at the cost of his life. He could be killed at any moment for practicing so strictly Krishna consciousness. And not only that, he was preaching also very strongly. I mean, and as a result of his preaching, all this, his friends became convinced. Prabhupada says in the purport that they liked to hear what Prahlad Maharaj said, and they did not like to hear what Shanda and Amarka said. And as a result of that, what happened? They all changed. They became devotees very quickly. And Hiranyakashipu, Shanda and Amarka went to Hiranyakashipu and reported Hiranyakashipu that this is what is happening. Hiranyakashipu immediately became very angry and he decided to kill Prahlad Maharaj. And Prahlad Maharaj was completely unperturbed. So the lesson from this is that because of Prahlad Maharaj's Krishna consciousness, therefore, in such a demoniac atmosphere, these demoniac school friends were able to become Krishna conscious. They were able to be convinced and they were able to accept very strongly, very strictly what Prahlad Maharaj was saying. So, what is very important to progress in Krishna consciousness is faith. Faith that the material world is bad and Krishna consciousness is good. Only Krishna conscious is good. Anything except Krishna conscious is not good. Unless one has this very powerful, discriminative, determined intelligence, one is sure to fall prey to the promises, the illusory promises of Maya. And what is the illusory promise of Maya? You can be happy without Krishna. You can be independent. So this independent nature, speaking about myself, is very, very strong. And that's what yesterday uh, I was actually reflecting that Putra the Ekadasi, that is a day that this Bhagavad Gita was mentioning that whatever desire you have will be fulfilled. So I was thinking, what is the best thing to pray for? And then I came to the conclusion the best thing to pray for is the desire to become the servant of the servant of the servant of the pure devotees of the Lord. That is the best thing you can pray for, because that prayer, uh, in that, if someone is able to pray, then in that there is no possibility of the false ego manifesting. But at the same time, we are praying to be the servant of the servant of the servant. Like when you pray to become the servant of the servant of the servant, which means at every stage, when you're going lower and lower and lower, your faith is increasing. Your faith is adding up. So if you're a servant of, you know, devotee A, and then under devotee A is devotee B, then under devotee B, devotee C, then devotee D. So all their blessings are adding up and making your faith very, very strong. So that is the power of this prayer. It's a very powerful prayer. And Sri Radha Maharaj mentions that um, Kalidas, because he had this mood that he was taking the foot wash of all the devotees in such a humble mood. That's why Mahaprabhu allowed him to drink his foot wash 3 times. So this is the power of the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant. And this mood of being the servant of the servant of the servant also is directly uh, corresponding to the word Sarvadharman Paritajamam Ekam Sharanam Brajam. That this is a real surrender. Because what is actually real surrender? Real surrender means that you just want to be an instrument of Krishna's will. A pure devotee, his only desire is to manifest Krishna's will. He has no separate desire. So, if we can pray in this way, just to become an instrument of the desire of a pure devotee, then we become very successful in Krishna consciousness and we become free from anxiety. The first thing which happens is that when we desire to become an instrument, for sure our endeavor will become successful, which means it will be very pleasing to Krishna, and we come very close to a pure devotee. And I was mentioning yesterday also that Srila Prabhupada was striving so hard to please the spiritual master. Although in the early days there were not so many people and they were not so much appreciating Prabhupada's message, because actually in today's age, preaching, the word preaching, sharing Krishna consciousness, although Mahaprabhu spoke, but it's only because of Srila Prabhupada that it is possible. Otherwise, it's impossible. If we don't have, if we don't have any books, if we don't have any institution, on your own spiritual stand, preaching is very difficult. Like you just go to some place, remote place in America. Now America knows so much about spirituality, yoga. You don't take Prabhupada's books, you don't chant the holy name. I mean, you don't have the backing of ISKCON, and you just go on your own spiritual strength. It is very difficult to actually establish a strong impression in the heart of the person you're speaking to. But in order to impress the power of Krishna consciousness in the heart of all these people in this world are not uh, who are not acquainted with spirituality, because we have so many different tools, and We have so many different types of mercy. That's why it's possible. And it was Srila Prabhupada who actually established this preaching culture because of his extraordinary um, dedication to his spiritual master. Krishna is so pleased with him that Krishna not only spread his glory all over the world, Krishna gave him the opportunity to preach, but also Krishna allowed him to create an opportunity for the entire universe to preach. That is the glory of Srila Prabhupada. Because of Srila Prabhupada setting up ISKCON in such a wonderful way, the whole world can preach actually. Can just take Srila Prabhupada's book, repeat Prabhupada's words, and immediately people will be attracted. So, yeah, it's very important to be in the association of such great devotees of the Lord. Uh, I always remind myself this thing that whatever desire I have, Krishna will fulfill. Today or tomorrow or 10 years later or 20 years, Krishna will fulfill that desire. For sure, Krishna will fulfill. So it's very important what we desire, what we want is very important. It's like Krishna told Arjuna, I am telling you uh, everything from A to Z. Now you decide what you want. Whatever you want to do, you decide. Arjuna is saying, Krishna is telling Arjuna Bhagavad Gita. So at every stage in our Krishna consciousness, Krishna gives us certain amount of mercy. Krishna gives us certain amount of experience. And then we have the opportunity to choose what we want. And although the path of pure devotion is like a razor's edge, it's very, very thin, very sharp, very narrow. But if we cultivate the proper mood and we are in good association and we have the intelligence to pray for the correct thing again and again and again, we have to pray for pure devotion because for so many lifetimes, especially myself, I've been away from Krishna. I have rejected Krishna. So unless I pray again and again and again for the same thing, uh, how will Krishna be convinced? Because for so many lifetimes, I have been wanting so many different things in this material world. I want desire A, desire B, desire C, desire E. It's constantly, and I'm asking all these things from Krishna. But now, unless I pray for pure devotional service at every moment in my life and I act in such a way, how will Krishna be convinced? How will pure devotees be convinced? So, uh, another perspective on praying, on having the correct desire, is that when we come to Krishna consciousness, we may have so many desires A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then probably one of the desires is pure devotion. So initially, we want Krishna to fulfill our other desires and pure devotion service also. But a time should come in our spiritual life that we should tell Krishna that we don't want any other desire. Please don't fulfill any other desire. Just fulfill this one desire is to become a pure devotee. Prabhupada says the relationship between a pure devotee and the Lord is very, very relishable. And pure devotional service only is possible when a devotee realizes Krishna's mercy is everything. So, um, actually, I sent the video on Vaishnav Sangha Bhakti Maharaj is saying that we need to come to a stage in our bhakti that we should pray to Krishna, that Krishna, whatever is required to happen in my life so that I can become a pure devotee. Whatever is required to happen, let that speed up, and whatever is required to be taken away, let that be taken away. Because ultimately, pure devotional service gives everything. Pure devotional service gives intelligence. Example is Maharaj Dhruva. He was a small boy. By becoming a pure devotee of the Lord put his conch on Dhruva Maharaj's head, and then he became endowed with all the knowledge, with all the extreme intelligence. Prahlad Maharaj, he became so fearless. And in so many ways, we can see the best example is actually The gopis, Brahma Samhita explains that how the gopis know so many extraordinary arts, where they got that intelligence from, by by Krishna's mercy. So Krishna's mercy does everything, and pure devotion does everything. Because Prabhupada is a pure devotee, everything Prabhupada does is perfect, has eternally does is perfect. That is the nature of pure devotion. Actually, Prabhupada disciples said they never saw even Prabhupada one time dropping something. That was how perfect Prabhupada was. In everything, Prabhupada was perfect. Whether dealing with business, dealing with temple, cooking, cleaning, cutting, everything, Prabhupada was perfect. So, how Prabhupada is perfect? Because of his pure devotion. So, pure devotion makes everything possible. So we have to pray for pure devotion again and again and again and again. That's very important. Ultimately, that's the only thing we can do is we can pray. Now, more and more, Krishna is convinced, Krishna is pleased by our activities. And Krishna sees that our activities and our prayers are matching, then Krishna will fulfill our desires. Otherwise, like it's mentioned in the purport, the law of karma continues birth after birth. Karma is very complicated. So, the only way to come out of this karma is Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. And Tivrena Bhakti Yogena is only possible when we have this one pointed, ekagraha, one pointed determination. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana, bhushakahi anantasya buddhayo vyavasayina. It's like just like Arjun, when he was young and he was being trained in archery, Dronacharya asked him that, what do you see? I only see the eye of the bird. So unless one becomes like 100% focused on attaining pure devotional service with intensity, it is impossible to avoid the distraction in this material world. Best example, I mean, I'm not qualified, but best example is Kala Krishna Das. That Prabhupada says in the purport that Maya is so strong that even when one may be in the presence of the Supreme Lord, Lord Chaitanya, who is actually an embodiment of the highest compassion, unlimitedly attractive, unlimitedly merciful, unlimitedly magnanimous. So even if one has the association of pure devotees of Srila, even pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada or Supreme Lord, unless one is firmly determined to actually come out of this Maya, unless one's intelligence is one pointed, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. So therefore, the best solution uh, to make our intelligence very strong is to associate with the pastimes of the Lord. Actually, this Father Prabhu mentioned something so wonderful yesterday. I was just thinking that the pastimes of Krishna, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are so wonderful. Why? Why are they so wonderful? Because that is where we really belong. That is our eternal home. When Krishna carries out his pastimes, performs his pastimes, there is no goal in those pastimes actually. Yes, from our perspective, there is only lessons to be learned. And for the conditioned souls, Krishna, our acharyas reflect many hidden reasons. But in the spiritual world, Krishna has only one goal is to please his devotees. That's it. Krishna has no other desire to enact pastimes. Like Prabhupada says, Krishna is not that kind of God that he has to work 9 to 5 and get money and then come home and enjoy with his family. Krishna is not that type of God. So Krishna is supremely independently ecstatic in his enjoyment. That's why he's Krishna. So Sri Ranath Maharaj mentions that the real quality of life is the quality of our thinking and feeling and willing in pure Krishna consciousness every moment. So, to the extent that we are striving to think of Krishna, to feel Krishna, to act for Krishna, mm, will for Krishna, to that extent, our life has quality. Otherwise, our life is completely useless. So, how is possible to manifest quality, qualitative thinking of Krishna? It is only possible when we become attracted to Krishna's pastimes, to Krishna's activities, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, to Nityananda Prabhu's activities. And when we feel some relation with those activities, yeah, this is where I belong, this is what I want to be doing, this is what I want to associate eternally with. So, unless that conviction, that attraction is imprinted in the heart, this is what I want, it is not possible to detach ourselves from the conception of being the enjoyer, the proprietor of this material world. So it's very important for us to associate with the pastimes of the Lord. And that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken. That's why Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. Like Govardhan Hill is an extraordinary example of how incredible is pure Krishna consciousness. Like Indra, mm, sending down torrents of rain, which were so powerful that they were capable of destroying the Brajvasis. But the Brajvasis, they just took shelter of Krishna in pure Krishna consciousness, and they were completely, mm, immune from whatever distraction or whatever disturbance Indra was, causing. I mean, of course, Indra is a wonderful devotee of the Lord. Um, But this is the same principle in this material world. In this material world, to the extent that you want to be Krishna conscious, to that extent, you will be free from your material responsibilities. Prabhupada writes in Krishna book, Krishna consciousness is so wonderful that it relieves everyone from the burden of their material responsibilities. Karma is just like, a rope binding the neck of all living entities, forcing them to fulfill their desires in this life and desires from so many life. But Krishna consciousness gives relief uh, from from those fulfilling those desires. Krishna consciousness is so wonderful. So to the extent that we engage in Krishna consciousness in our daily life, to that extent we become relieved from fulfilling our material responsibilities. Like, I mean, although it may be very extreme, but Srila Prabhupada is a shining example. So Prabhupada, when he started preaching, he had absolutely no support. What to speak of financial? Prabhupada did not have any emotional, any support. Everyone was taking him cheaply. And Prabhupada is living in poverty. Many days Prabhupada did not have food to eat. Prabhupada did not have enough cloth to even cover his body. At night, Prabhupada was living in such extreme conditions. But because Prabhupada was determined that no, only Krishna is my Lord. I will only fulfill my Guru Maharaj's desire. I will only fulfill Krishna's desire. I am not going to become a slave to the dharma of this material world. No. Because Prabhupada was so determined, therefore he became free, completely free. And he could free so many others also. So if we have this one point of determination that I will work only for Krishna, I will only fulfill the desire of Krishna, I will not fulfill anyone else's desire. Prabhupada gives a very wonderful thing in Prahlad Maharaj teaching that Prahlad Maharaj is so determined that even though his own father, but because he was a demon, therefore he did not fulfill his desire. So it's Prabhupada says a devotee will only fulfill the desire of the Supreme Lord. He will not fulfill the desire of anyone else in this material world. So this is how wonderful is Krishna consciousness. And yeah, it's very important for devotees to understand this is science. It's not a sentiment, it is science. So unless one understands scientifically how to progress in Krishna consciousness again and again and again, and unless one feels happy in sacrificing his life for Krishna, sacrificing his time, his energy, everything for Krishna, mm, it is not possible to continue on this path. If you continue on this path, 100% you become a pure devotee. There's no doubt about it. The examples of all the Prabhupada disciples. But Maya's business is to take us away from Krishna in the form of good things, in this achieving things in this material world, and in the form of not achieving things. Like Suresh Balasuri was mentioning yesterday, that the real happiness, the real success is to remember Krishna, and the real failure is to forget Krishna. So the real happiness is not in blissful situation. The real happiness is in pleasing Krishna, and the real misery is not in difficult situations, but is in displeasing Krishna. I always think of this, regardless of who in this material world, what they go through, if Krishna is pleased with you in your heart, and Krishna reveals himself, even for a second, the amount of joy that Krishna can give by that 1 second of revelation is so powerful that you can forget everything in this material world. You can forget everything in this material world. It is nothing compared to that 1 second of bliss, 1 second of happiness. So actually, the only suffering is spiritual suffering. Actually, the only difficulty is spiritual difficulty. Speaking for myself, very fallen. So this verse is very wonderful. This verse is exposing how dangerous this material world is, and at the same time, every verse in Bhagavatam is a impetus for us to become Krishna conscious, and it's a very positive life. Very positive life. Today is every Ekadasi is actually the mother of Bhakti. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says as very powerful day to practice devotional service. And the next day after Ekadasi, Dwadasi is also very important for us as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because Tulsi Devi is the incarnation, Amsa of Vrinda Devi in the spiritual world. And Vrinda Devi is the personality who arranges the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. And she is an embodiment, she is the Vigraha of Seva. So Seva, that's why we pray Seva Adhikara. So her form is actually a form of service, constantly serving, 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 serving. So if we can pray for her mercy, then she can engage us in the service, engage us in the service. And along with service comes so much happiness, comes so much satisfaction of the heart. So by her mercy, we can pray for her mercy that we can change our vision from how can I enjoy to how can I serve. That is success. That is success. If a devotee, speaking for myself, can always be in this mode of how can I serve, how can I serve, how can I serve, then that will help to counter the tendency to enjoy, tendency to enjoy, tendency to enjoy. So yeah, it's a very, very special day, and it's very wonderful opportunity to pray to Krishna, to pray to our Guru Parampara, that please may I fulfill your desire. May I become an instrument of fulfilling your desire. Aladar Maharaj, His Holiness Aladar Maharaj says, we can only pray like that when we have no desire, when we have no plan, when we have no independent thought process. Then only they can use us in their service. But if we have our own plan and project, we have our own desire, then they will not. So it's like this Prabhu says that Krishna uh, plays the flute because the flute is empty. So in the same way, only when we become uh, we we become free from our own desires to enjoy in this world, and we are completely eager and enthusiastic to be used in whatever way Krishna wants us um, uh, to serve him, then only it is possible that we can become an instrument of the desire of the previous acharyas. And that is the greatest fortune in this world, is to become, Saraswati Thakur says, a carrier uh, of the shoes of the parampara. That is the greatest good fortune in this world. There is no greater fortune, there is no greater happiness than that. And on the basis of that happiness, on the basis of that satisfaction, all the Prabhupada disciples, they're very proudly, they are very happily, they're sacrificing, they're serving this movement. And that's the lesson from all the Prabhupada disciples, is that how glorious it is to be a servant of a pure devotee, of an exalted devotee. There is no greater position in this world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Addition. Any question, comment?
So, one thing you mentioned about intelligence. How can that be single point? Our intelligence is based on society. How can you always split that?
Yeah, bro, I'm speaking for myself. So intelligence, how to make it one-pointed? Of course, Shastra and association, these two things are there. And the impressions, the qualitative Krishna conscious impressions are there. But yeah, the main thing is time too. I mean, if we are in Krishna consciousness, engaging Krishna consciousness over a period of time, Ahitukya Pratiyata, as much as possible. Like, no, we don't have to check with anyone, we don't have to prove to anyone. But if we can go in front of Krishna and say, Krishna, today, apart from whatever eating and sleeping I needed to do to maintain my body, or to whatever dharma I needed to fulfill just to earn some money and to maintain my family, except for what I absolutely needed to do. The rest of the time I was engaged in your service without interruption and without any ulterior motive. Then, if we can repeat that, then for sure, over a period of time, our intelligence will be one-pointed.
One thing, sometimes it feels Krishna consciousness is very high standard. It has very high standards compared to this material. Like how, but as Prabhupada says, very severe, very simple. So sometimes as we hear devotees preach and talk about it, and as we see ourselves, in the temple, it's quite bewildering. So how does one?
Yeah, I was also thinking about this, that sometimes Krishna conscious standards seem very high. Speaking for myself also. So yesterday I was reading Prabhupada's purport. I was praying and I just saw this purport. Prabhupada says, a devotee realizes Krishna's mercy is everything. So the thing is, do your best and leave the rest to Krishna, and Krishna will fulfill. Krishna will help us to. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I preserve what you have and I carry what you lack. So Krishna will help us to reach those standards, whatever standard. So it's like as Rosha Prabhu says, if you want to chant 16 good rounds, it's very difficult. So chant one mantra or four mantras. So then it becomes easy. So I just caught this from the purport. Prabhupada said, when we understand Krishna's mercy to be everything, then we become peaceful. When we realize Krishna is the doer, then we are relieved. Otherwise, speaking for myself, when you take it on yourself, I have to become advanced. I have to become a pure devotee. I have to do that. Then the mind becomes a lot of anxiety. So I think that is, would you like add it? Like Saraswati Thakur's, anything, anytime, anyone would ask him, he would say, if Krishna desires, this will happen. If Krishna desires, that will happen. So I think that, yeah, developing that mentality is very good. That relieves us of anxiety and puts us in prayerful mood. Yeah, but it's true, Ruhi. Actually, it's not easy at all. It's very, very tall order for me also. Even the smallest instruction is not easy. Like any instruction, to carry out that instruction all the time, like paying obeisances can be the easiest instruction, but to pay obeisances all the time, every time, it's not easy, right? And to pay obeisance in the correct mode is not easy. So the smallest, simplest instruction to repeat all the time is not easy. So it requires Krishna's mercy. When Krishna blesses someone with that quality permanently, then only a person can manifest that, when Guru blesses. So yeah, so until that point, it's a struggle. The only hope is prayer and blessings. We can please the devotees for around us, our authorities, when they are genuinely pleased, then it's possible. Online, does anyone have any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the nice class. I have a reflection. Yesterday, I was hearing to His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Kishore Maharaj. So he was, in similar lines, he was summarizing what you were sharing today in the class, like to have the right desire to feel ourselves, our life is useless. So he was quoting the verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, like the Antya Leela, the last chapter, where Mahaprabhu goes into those ecstatic moments, and he was quoting this real the verse that actually was summarizing all the points that you were saying. Premadhana vinavyartha dharitra jivan dasa kauri vetan more deha premadhan. So I was thinking that the life is useless, how the translation goes, without the love of Godhead. And prayer is to, oh Lord, please accept me as your servant, Dasakuri, and give me the vetan, give me the salary as the love of Godhead. So to have the right prayers, have to have the right desires. So that was very reflective. And thank you so much for the nice class. Hare Krishna.
And anyone else has any question or comment? Otherwise, would you like to add anything? Okay, so nobody else has any question or comment. Please forgive me. I have no qualification, I have no realization, but I spoke so many things. Please bless me that I can apply what I'm speaking. On Chakalpataru. Yes.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, I was just remembering the class. There was one point that you said, when Krishna sees that our actions and our desires are in line, then he bestows his mercy on us. So it was actions and desire, or actions and activities? No, actions and yeah, it was actions and desires only, na?
Prayers. Actually, better is prayer, because many material desires may be there, but we may pray to the Lord, I don't want these material desires. But if we act in such a way that shows that we don't want those material desires, yeah, then over a period of time, Krishna become convinced, yeah, that I can trust this person, that if I give this person mercy, he will not again, use the mercy to again enjoy. So Krishna become convinced of that, then yeah, Krishna will give mercy.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very grateful. Very nice class.
Vanchakalptarubhishya kripasindhubhyevacha paitanam pavanam Antakodi Vaishnavi.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.